I will call the meeting to order. And just a few housekeeping things, the meeting documents, some of them are in your agenda. The rest of them we will load to Cvent after the meeting. The business meeting minutes draft is available at the MOUG website under meetings, and then subpage business meeting minutes. We did not print those out and put them in your packet. So with that out of the way, I'd like to welcome everyone to the MOUG 2024 business meeting. I'm Mary Huesman, St. Olaf College, MOUG chair, and I'll ask the board members to stand or wave as I introduce you. So Jake Schaub is our vice chair, chair-elect. Linda Bagley, secretary, newsletter editor. Trishani Pereira, treasurer. Margaret Corby, continuing education coordinator. And Suzanne Lovejoy, reference discovery and collection coordinator. Morris Levy, OCLC liaison. And not with us today is Jeff Lyon, our past treasurer. Oops. So the next thing on our agenda is the adoption of the agenda. I have one addition to the printed agenda that's in your packet. There's a report on the oral history project. So I'd invite a motion to approve the agenda. And a second. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? The motion carries. There is our agenda, sorry. The next item on the agenda is the approval of minutes from the 2023 business meeting. And as I said previously, where the draft minutes can be found, also in the June 2023 issue of the MOUG newsletter. Does anyone have any corrections for the minutes? And hearing none, I would invite a motion to approve the minutes. A second? Okay. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? The motion carries. At this time, I'd like to recognize our first-time attendees. Whether you're virtual or here with us in Cincinnati. I hope you find our presentations useful and that you'll come back and visit with us again. And hopefully, if you're virtual, at some point in the future, you will have a chance to join us in person. The next thing is the recognition of our Papakian Travel Grant recipient. This travel grant supports attendance at the annual MOUG meeting and in recognition of Ralph's mentoring role in music librarianship. It's especially intended to support newer members of the profession in both public and technical services. Students, paraprofessionals, and professionals in the first 5 years of their professional careers are eligible to apply. The MOUG board would like to announce that the winner of this year's travel grant is Hannah Gauthier. Hannah, could you please stand? Hannah studied music and theater at DePaul University before further earning a graduate degree in vocal performance from the University of North Florida. She is currently enrolled in the Library and Information Studies program at Florida State University and has served in a variety of positions within both academic and public library spheres, most recently working with the youth collection at the Jacksonville Public Library and as a digitization specialist for the Wilsonian at Florida International University. So welcome, Hannah. Now we'll move on to our board reports, beginning with my report as chair. The first thing is I would like to announce our election results. These have also been previously announced on MOUG-L. And I would like to thank all of our candidates who stood for election. Linda Bagley was re-elected to another term as Secretary Newsletter, and Janice Bunker is our incoming continuing education coordinator. So congratulations, and I look forward to working with you on the board. I would also like, I would also like to thank the nominating committee chaired by Alan Ringwood with members Emily Colucci and Jake Schaub for providing us with our slate of candidates. The board will be soliciting volunteers for next year's committee shortly, and candidates in due course. We are also in need of other volunteers if you're looking for a place to plug yourself into MOUG for the Reference, Discovery, and Collections Committee, led by Suzanne, and you can talk to Suzanne if you are interested. So please consider whether you can serve MOUG in this way. And next we will hear from Trishani Pereira with the Treasurer's Report.
Thank you, Mary. Can everybody hear okay? Yes. Hi, everybody. It's good to see you all. This is my first Treasurer's Report. This would not have been my turn. However, I needed to step in to the position 6 months early because our now past treasurer, Jeff Lyon, had a exciting career opportunity. So it worked out for me to start my term 6 months early. So I'm here to present some data based on data that was collected by past treasurer and myself since September of last year. Before we start, I just want to take a few minutes to thank a few people. This treasurer transition was an unusual transition that happened during the middle of the year, and there were a few people that made that transition very smoothly. So I want to thank Jeff for his support with all the transition details, Mary for answering all the newbie board member questions, and also want to thank Melissa Moll, who is our most recent past treasurer, who provided a lot of advice and guidance for this transition. I also want to take a moment to thank some folks involved with this particular annual meeting planning. So our CEC Margaret for being a partner and collaborator since we started annual meeting registrations. And also Jim Zahowicz and Kayla in the MLA business office, who have been very patient and helpful partners to process registrations for this meeting. And also for you all for showing up and supporting MOUG, so thank you. The 2023 financial report I provided a physical printout for you all. If you are still looking for one, I think there were a few extras at the registration desk. So this is I want to just share some highlights. Overall, MOUG is financially very stable and healthy. For the first time in the organization's history, our total assets have surpassed the $100,000 mark, which is very good news. We couldn't have reached that milestone without your support. So thank you for your continued interest in MOUG and supporting the organization with your membership. While memberships have slightly declined, we have had consistent conference attendance and related income during the past few years, even when the conference took place virtually. I hope with MOUG continuing to provide opportunities for virtual and in-person connections through hybrid conferences, we will continue to see stable attendee numbers for our annual meetings. So thank you to everyone who's attending this year's conference, both in person and virtually. We appreciate your continued interest in our educational offerings. Since switching to First Internet Bank, we have seen significant increases in interest income for our operating accounts, as well as the investments. So I want to take a moment to thank our past treasurers and board members for their thoughtful decision-making that has allowed MOUG to benefit from these passive income options. This is also included in your report, but just sort of starting ending balances. From January 1st to December 31st, our assets saw an increase of over $13,000. This is due to increases in bank interest income and annual meeting income, but also due to decreases in spending. Though not at the same pace as pre-COVID years, 2023 saw an increase in donations to our Papakian Fund and the MOUG General Fund. So I want to take this opportunity to thank everyone who donated to MOUG and who have continued to support our professional development needs of our members. Thank you. So you've got the numbers in front of you in the financial report, but this is just a visual summary of that for the operations income. Personal memberships count for almost half of our annual operations income. Institutional subscriptions have been fairly consistent. However, the general trend is a decline for both categories. And then we did see a good spike in bank interest investments, especially our CD interest. And then operational expenses for last year. Operations expenses have decreased due to virtual summer board meetings and limited reimbursements for winter board meetings. Board members' home institutions continue to cover full or partial costs for travel. Newsletter printing and postage costs have increased slightly. We published 3 newsletters per year. And I want to draw your attention to a couple of categories here under website and membership platform fees. There are 2 annual payments associated with the website. One is for website hosting and domain name, and then the other is for the treasurer's email. Membership platform fees saw an increase, so we used the platform Membi. They changed from a quarterly model to a monthly payment model, so that we did see an increase with that change. Under platform fees, there was an increase last year because we utilized a conference registration platform, so that's part of that platform fees. And PayPal is also the other platform we use for processing your membership fees. And here's a summary of ins and outs. I'm not going to go into details, but our meeting last year was virtual. We did have an in-person reception component, so which is why the meeting expenses were slightly higher than other years, and I'll get to a next slide where you can see that comparison. 2023 membership, we had 127 personal members and institutional members, 73 institutional members. Institutional membership has gone down. Personal membership is sort of fluctuating depending on the conference offering. We saw a pretty big increase in 2022 because it was also a lower registration fee, so that opened up opportunities for more folks to attend as well. That was also a fully virtual conference. And for any of the data nerds, this is a last slide here, just looking at trends for our last 5 conferences. So 2019, 2020, those were fully in-person conferences. 21, 22, 23 were fully virtual conferences. We had a slight income decrease as far as meeting expenses go. We had a slight income decrease in 2022, but operational income has been fairly stable. We saw a slight decrease in meeting income in 2022, like I said, because the conference registration rate was much less than our regular conference rates. We're getting close to regular meeting attendee numbers this year, sort of getting back to the numbers where we were for in-person conferences. And our meeting income is also edging closer to pre-pandemic in-person conferences. Operational expenses have fluctuated due to various reasons. While platform costs and newsletter costs have increased, other expenses such as board meeting travel reimbursements have decreased. Similarly, meeting expenses have decreased in the past 3 years due to fully virtual conferences. All right, and that's all I have. If you have any questions, this is the generic treasurer email, treasurer@musicoclcusers.org. Yeah, I look forward to serving as your treasurer for the next 2 years. Thank you.
Thanks, Trishani. Next up is Continuing Education Coordinator, Margaret.
All right, I'm going to start out my report by thanking the program committee. I can't thank them enough for all of the help that they have provided this last year with their comments and insight into our program that we're sharing with you today. So our program committee members for this year is Reed Davis, Janice Bunker, Suzanne Lovejoy, Victoria Peters, Christy Berglund, and Mary Huseman. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank the members of the MOUG board for all of their helpful suggestions and input in preparing for this program. This is the first year that MOUG has provided what I'm calling a truly hybrid meeting, in that we are able to have virtual attendees in real time seeing our presentations, as well as having people in the room. So February 16th was our virtual day, but today has been our hybrid meeting. I think it's going fine, knock on wood. Here is our breakdown for our MOUG 2024 attendees. According to my records, we had 56 in-person attendees, 35 virtual attendees, and 11 no responses, who I really think ended up being more of our virtual attendees. So that's a total of 102 attendees for this year. The format of MOUG 2025 is most likely going to be another virtual year, since MLA is going to be virtual as well. After this meeting, I'm going to be sending out a post-meeting survey. I'll do it sometime this evening, so do be checking in your email for that survey. I have questions in there about our hybrid format. Please take the time to complete this survey, because your input really is helpful to the MOUG board and the MOUG program committee in preparing for next year's upcoming meetings. As Mary just mentioned, Janice Bunker is the incoming continuation coordinator. In a month or so, Janice and I are going to be working together on sharing documents and getting that information from myself to her. I believe that it'll be a month or two that Janice will also be putting out a call for the 2025 program committee members. Again, if you're looking for an opportunity to get involved, the program committee is a great way to be a part of MOUG. You have it when you're a part of the program committee, as you would guess, most of the meetings are over Zoom, but it's usually not too overwhelming. I would also like to take this time to have you start thinking about considering program presentations for next year. It's never too late to prepare. This can either be something that you yourself would like to prepare, or maybe if you're at an MLA chapter meeting or something like that and you see a really good presentation that you feel would be a good fit for MOUG, please bring that forward to Janice or myself, and we will help you get that moved forward. Thank you very much.
And next, we'll hear from Morris as our OCLC liaison.
Thank you, Mary. Like Trishani, this is my first meeting as OCLC liaison. For those who are unaware, the former OCLC liaison, Jay White, retired last June, and I am here now, as some will say, as the new Jay. And I hope people will stop saying that after the meeting. No, for several decades he has had this role, and so it is humbling, but I also appreciate all the nice things that people have been saying to me at the meeting, and so thank you from the bottom of my heart for that. I did submit a News from OCLC report, but for the sake of this meeting, I won't read it all. I will just talk about some of the things that are upcoming, especially that might be of interest to this audience. There is a redesign of bibliographic formats and standards that will be coming out, we believe, by the end of the month. All of the material in BFAS right now, none of the information is going to change. It is primarily a design issue, but it will provide better navigation. It will allow you to do searching within the pages, which was not possible before, and it will also allow you to use BFAS on a handheld device, on your tablet or a phone. There are lots of tables that are built in to BFAS because it was basically converted from its paper form into a digital form, and so all the tables were preserved. But through some modifications, it now will be possible to use your phone, and it will size appropriately. So we're excited about that. Again, not going to be any change to the information, but we think it's going to be a good, useful tool, and so it will be out, we believe, by the end of March. I'd like to make a plug for all of you who have been submitting duplicate merge requests. So just so you know, it is, if you come across in your cataloging bibliographic records in WorldCat that you believe to be duplicates, you can report them. And I am letting you know that the person you are seeing at the podium reads them all and reviews them all and merges as appropriate. I know many of you have been submitting them regularly, and I appreciate that. When I went through the training for merging, first I started with books, then scores, and then sound recordings. The backlog for sound recordings started in 2019. The backlog for scores, 2021. So we are now caught up on all scores and all musical sound recordings. There is still about 1,000 requests for audiobooks that are still there, but I leave that for someone else. So please continue. I believe Casey mentioned merging. It is possible for you to participate in as in the merging program. You can contact AskQC or bibchange@oclc.org if you're interested, and if you have the time to go through the training, that would be great. And finally, I'd like to mention, some of you may have noticed that next month I will be leading a session of our virtual Ask QC hours on music cataloging for the uninitiated. So obviously it doesn't apply to anyone in this room, but if you have students who work for you, if you have graduate students who are working for you, and if you want to, hate watch, that's fine too. So it's going to be on the 2nd and the 20, whatever that next Thursday would be. So it's going to be on March 12th and 19, 20, 21, and March 21st. Thank you.
So now the next item on our agenda is the Distinguished Service Award presentation. The MOUG Distinguished Service Award recognizes and honors someone who has made significant professional contributions to music users of OCLC. The MOUG Executive Board selects a recipient based on nominations received from the MOUG membership. So for this year, the MOUG Board is honored to present the Distinguished Service Award to Chuck Peters from Indiana University. So I will read the letter, and then Chuck, after I read the letter, you can come up and receive your plaque. It is my privilege to present to you, with the approval of the Music OCLC Users Group Executive Board and on behalf of the membership, this Distinguished Service Award. Chuck was nominated for the MOUG Distinguished Service Award by his colleague, Laken Morris. Laken notes that Chuck's profound impact on the field of music cataloging extends beyond the national level and has deeply influenced every music cataloger he has trained. His unwavering passion for imparting music cataloging practices is truly commendable. Chuck is actively engaged in Indiana University's Music Librarianship Specialization Program, mentoring aspiring professionals during the early stages of their careers. His expertise at supervising internships has led to several of his interns securing positions as catalogers in various institutions across the United States. Chuck's dedication to the profession extends to his active involvement in local, institutional, national, and international professional organizations. He has held key leadership roles, serving as the chair for IAML's Music Teaching Institutions section, coordinator of the MLA Technical Services Interest Group, chair of the MLA Midwest Chapter Cataloging Committee, vice president, president-elect of INULA, and is a reviewer for catalogers aspiring to become independent contributors of authority records for music through the NACO Music Funnel. Chuck has delivered numerous presentations on cataloging digital scores and addressing cataloging backlogs at conferences for professional librarian organizations such as MOUG, MLA, and IAML. MOUG in our field of practice will be forever grateful for the contributions Chuck has made, which allow us to do our work for our collections and their users. Sincerely, the MOUG users, OCLC Users Group. So congratulations again, Chuck.
This is quite an honor, so thank you to everyone. I learned early in my career that this was a good group to be associated with, and I don't think I would have had any cataloging successes without each and every one of you, so thank you. You want your hand on that too? Thanks.
Thank you. And now we'll move on to other announcements and new business. First off, I'd like to announce that Michelle Hahn has been appointed for a full term as MOUG web editor. So thanks, Michelle, for your ongoing service. The second thing regards MOUG L. With the retirement of Jay White's, Morris has taken on the task of being one of MOUG L's co-list owners. Our other co-list owner is Nancy Sack, and Nancy has let the board know that she will be retiring in the coming year, and we will need to fill this position. So please watch for a forthcoming call for a co-list owner for MOUG-L, and if you would like some information, you can talk to Morris about what that would involve. If you have an interest in that area, please let the board know. The next is a report combining the MOUG-OLAC Liaison Report and the MOUG Oral History Initiative. Autumn Faulkner is our OLAC MOUG Liaison and leader of our Oral History Initiative. She's unable to be with us today, and so I'm delivering her report on her behalf. First off, the OLAC 2024 conference will be held October 8th through the 10th in Minneapolis. The meeting will be a hybrid format, in person at the University of Minnesota Twin Cities and virtual via Zoom. A call for proposals will be coming in March, and registration will open in June. Watch OLAC-L and the conference website, which is available through the OLAC website, for more announcements. Autumn sent a message to MOUG-L this morning about how everyone can contribute to the MOUG Oral History Initiative. You may record and send in your own interview using the link in the message, or you can respond to Autumn off-list to set up a Zoom interview with her. The process should take about 15 to 20 minutes of your time and gives MOUG the chance to preserve its rich history, like these meaningful words from Jay Whites in his own interview. I learned that whenever I'm up there answering questions at MOUG, I'm almost always learning something, just if nothing else, the way people think about cataloging. It's been an education all by itself, working with all the people involved in MOUG. They're funny, they're brilliant, and they're smart. Autumn notes that final edited and captioned versions of the oral histories already collected will be available to the membership in the near future. Watch for announcements on MOUG-L. And she ends by saying, thanks for considering, and please reach out with any questions. In closing out this meeting, I have a bunch of announcements, some of which we've touched on earlier. The annual meeting acknowledgements. I would like to thank Margaret Corby for all of her work putting this meeting together. It was a lot of work. Every year seems to bring a new twist to our meeting preparations, and Margaret has dealt with that in a great fashion. I'd also like to reiterate the thanks to the program committee for putting together our great program. And I would like to also thank OCLC for our printed program, for all the swag that was in your folder, and everything that OCLC does for us. I'd also like to thank Margaret and Shoshani for their assistance with coordinating all of the registration details with the MLA Business Office and Convention Manager. So well done all. I'll give you a round of applause. I would also like to thank our outgoing board members. At this point, that would be Margaret. My thanks are not enough for all the work you have done these past 2 years. So I'd like to have a round of applause for Margaret. I am also ending my term as chair and transitioning into the past chair role. It has been an absolute honor and privilege to serve MOUG in this way. And I know Jake, our incoming chair, will do an excellent job as chair. And if we had an actual MOUG gavel, I would pass that to you at this point, but we don't, so just consider the gavel has been passed. I will also remind everyone, as Margaret has asked you, to fill out that meeting evaluation, because it is very, very helpful to the board in our preparations for the meeting. Does anyone else have anything to add for the good of the order?
We need to clap for you, Mary.
Thank you. Thanks. Oops. Okay, Casey has something?
I don't know if Margaret mentioned this earlier, but I noticed when I sat down on Cvent that there was some virtual Q&A for my presentation. So to my fellow presenters, you can go in and answer them directly. And then I think everyone can read the Q&A that may have come in from people attending on Zoom. So just so everyone knows that there are other Q&A on that platform.
Thanks. Anything else? Seeing none, then I'd invite a motion to adjourn the meeting. Second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Didn't think there would be any, but, had to ask. So the motion passes. Thank you.